I am a big believer in starting on time, and it's 9 o'clock, so I'm going to get started. My name is Dr. Jill Sack, and I am the interim principal of this wonderful school, Millburn Middle School. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you this morning to this orientation, and really to welcome you to the Millburn Middle School family. And I'm going to start by just sharing a little bit about me. So I was a principal for a long time, and I spent over 30 years in Montclair as a teacher, as an assistant principal, as a principal. And in 2021, I retired. And I like to say I failed at retirement because in 2022, I was given an opportunity to become an interim principal in Westfield, New Jersey. And I thought, retirement's not so bad, but I kind of miss being with kids and being in a building. So I went to Westfield as an interim principal, and I loved it. Just that it felt like coming home. And I was there for about 8 months. Interim positions do end at some point. And I went back to being retired, and I just kind of played pickleball and did my thing for a while. And then this past fall, I was given an opportunity to be an interim administrator in Princeton. And I love that too. And it was great, except Princeton, I don't know if you've been there or familiar with Princeton, but the public schools are great. It's a lousy commute from here, this area. So that position ended around Christmas time, and I was sure that I was going to have the winter and just go back to being retired. And on New Year's Eve day, I found out about an opportunity to become an interim principal at Millburn Middle School. And I grabbed it. And I really am thrilled to be here. I don't know if you've heard, but this position was supposed to end in June, and I'm having such a good time that I'm going to stay next year as well. So I will be your children's principal next year, interim principal. I am surrounded by a very talented group of teachers and amazing kids and very supportive parent community. So I'm thrilled to stay. And again, I'm really happy that you're here this morning and you get to meet me and a bunch of us and hear more about this wonderful school. So yeah, I've been around a while, and I created this slide to show you that's me in 6th grade. And I always wanted to be a teacher, really since I was in 1st grade. I never thought about doing anything else as a career. And I was like that kid who played school all the time when other kids wanted to go, do other things. I wanted to play school. And then the other picture is me when I was a 3rd grade teacher. You might be able to guess from my outfit what decade that was, but that's at my wedding, and I invited my 3rd grade class to my wedding. So yeah, my husband's not in the picture, but he was there. So what I said about supportive parent community, I really do mean. We have an amazing PTO. My first meeting here at school was with the PTO executive board, and I felt like their main question is, what do you need? What can we do for you? What does the school need? And I just really enjoy working with our PTO. So next year we have 2 co-presidents, Nina Collier and Tracy Nash, and I'm going to introduce you to Nina now. I see some of you taking pictures. We will share this presentation with you. You can take as many pictures as you want, but just know that we'll share this with you. It's being recorded, and you'll be able to see it later if you want to watch it again. Nina?
Good morning. On behalf of the PTO, we wanted to welcome you guys to the parent community here at Millburn Middle School. Now, some of you may have heard this rumor that once your kid gets to middle school, parent involvement goes out the window. That is not true. We spend a lot of time putting together programs and events here at the middle school to support your children, as well as to support this parent community. And we couldn't do it without a huge army of volunteers. So we do need you. We do want you to be engaged. And I would say that middle school, as Dr. Sack is going to tell you, is a time of huge growth and change for your kids. This is not the time to step out. It's the time to plug in. And we'd love to have you as part of that team with us. We do a lot here at the middle school to support and enrich what is happening here for your kids, as well as for the curriculum. We do socials. TGIF Friday nights are really fun for the sixth graders in particular. They're fun social events. They get to kind of run the school, and we do a lot of fun programming for that evening for them. There's an ice cream social in the fall. We also do after school enrichment programs, very similar to the ASEs that you had in elementary school. So of course we need a ton of volunteers to help put those programs together. And then finally, we also do for our students support for you guys so that we are your resource for news. Join us so that you can get our newsletter and stay up to date on all the things going on. We also are your resource for school supplies and for gym wear. Your kids, if you haven't been here before, you're going to learn that your kids need to have a personalized shirt for gym wear. We're your resource for that, as well as for the only school-sanctioned tote bag. So get these from the middle school as well. All of this is going to be available to you through our website, through Membership Toolkit. But you do need to be a member of the PTO to access all of this and to access all these programs for your kids. So please do join us. It's a great school, and we're super excited to have you here and to have you part of our family community of parents as well. Tracy, do you want to say anything else?
Welcome, everyone. It is an exciting year. I have a sixth grader now, so I know, I was in your seats a year ago, so I fully can understand what you're going through, but it is, like Nina said, we do need your involvement. There is a rumor out there that you can take a step back, but the more involved you are, the better off for your children, and it makes the experience better for the whole community. So we appreciate anyone that can help out. We'll be sending out newsletters, and there'll be more information to come and all the supplies. So look forward to a great year. If you have any questions, we're here.
So we are fortunate to have ongoing support from another group, community group, the Millburn Education Foundation. And we are so appreciative of the support of the MEF over the years. They have funded some learning environments. There was an audio visual studio that the MEF funded. This year, we're going on a whole school field trip to the Paper Mill Playhouse to see The Little Mermaid in June. Last year, I believe it was Fiddler on the Roof. They have funded our VEX Robotics, which we have an amazing robotics team here at Millburn Middle School. So we're very appreciative of the funding from Millburn Education Foundation. Here are the three administrators, me and Mrs. Ward and Mrs. Young, the two assistant principals. They are superstars, in my opinion, very talented administrators, and I'm thrilled to work alongside of them every day. You'll meet them in a little while. And this is a list of some key administrators and personnel. Some of these names may sound familiar to you. Our district level directors, like Una Abrams is director of ELA, Christy Young, director of STEM. I'm not going to read the whole list to you. I did want to point out that here at the middle school, our current administrative assistant or head secretary is Anne-Marie Banta. Anne-Marie is retiring this summer, and Rachel Petrella, who's our current guidance secretary, will be taking over. So Mrs. Petrella is going to be the head secretary next year. She's awesome. and you can see our counselors' names. We have a school security officer. You may have met him. He was by the door when you came in, and he is Mr. Peter Merrigan. Next year, this is our projected enrollment for 25-26 school year. We expect to welcome 1,137 students in the fall, and 367 of them will be your children, the 6th grade class. We have a projected faculty number of 171. And I want to talk a minute about academic levels. In 6th grade, there's one level for all the courses. It's called the academic level. So there's academic level of ELA, of science, of social studies, and so on. The only exception is that next year there is a pilot for accelerated math. You should have received a letter from me a few weeks back explaining some of this. So that's just a pilot. It's just math for next year. In 7th grade, we have the academic level in all core subjects and world language. However, in 7th grade, we also have an accelerated level for ELA and math. And in 8th grade, there are both the academic and accelerated levels offered in the 4 core subjects, so ELA, math, science and social studies, plus world language. I have to go over a couple of things with you that have to do with the health office, and it's very important. There are some things that must happen before the start of the school year. If your child already has or needs a treatment plan for asthma, allergies, anaphylaxis, diabetes, or seizure disorders, you must follow these directions. And sorry to read it to you, but it's really important that you do this. Visit the middle school website. You go to parents, students, you click on nurse, and then frequently requested health documents and information. These plans must be provided before the start of school. Also, if your child takes medication that has to be administered at school, that we require a form signed by the physician. The medication must be brought to the nurse by a parent or guardian in the original bottle, and students are not permitted to carry or administer medication at school. Self-administer. Also, there is, in order to start 6th grade, there is an immunization requirement. In order to start 6th grade in Millburn Middle School, students who are already 11 years old must have the Tdap and meningococcal vaccines. Students who turn 11 after the first day of school must have the Tdap and meningococcal vaccine within 14 days of their 11th birthday. If the meningococcal vaccine was given before his or her 10th birthday, the physician must provide documentation that the child will receive the booster within 5 years. Okay, so we got some of the housekeeping items out of the way, and I want to talk about what makes Millburn Middle School such a special place. So the focus here in this school is on teaching and learning. Students take their studies very seriously, and they're just very academically minded. That came to light in, for me, one of my first days here, I was walking around the lunchroom and I heard kids studying for a science quiz. They finished eating and then they had a few minutes and then, or talking about a book that they were reading. And it struck me because, I think it's awesome. They're just very academically inclined. We strive to create a learning environment that is challenging and supportive. When I was growing up, I went to a junior high. And junior high is different than middle school. Junior high is more like a high school where you take classes, but you're not with the same group of kids and you could have teachers all over the building. It's a very different philosophy. Middle school, philosophy of middle school is about teaming. So your children, even though they're going to be in a school with, 1,100 kids, they are going to be on a team that is made up of 4 core classes. So it's like about 100 kids, maybe a little less, that share the same 4 core teachers. They have the same ELA, math, science, and social studies teachers. So it makes a big, scary school not feel so big and scary when you're on a team like that. We have a very robust curriculum and an assorted related arts classes, which you will hear about more about in a little while. And as I said earlier, what I also think makes the school so special is the involved parents in the community. We have a supportive board of education, talented staff, etc. And we have a lot of school spirit. I wanted to show you that we thank the PTO for helping us with our mascot, who was named, the kids voted and named him Maverick. That is, I don't know why this slide. All you see is I'm sorry? I didn't realize. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Mr. Mayada, wrong way. Anyway, we are finishing up this month, Spirit Month. We've had a lot of activities around school spirit, different events, and this was something new, and the kids get so excited. I mean, Maverick's not around every day walking around the classrooms, but he has been there at arrival time in the morning, and there you go. Yeah, you still can't see. I don't know. Anyway, you get the idea. That's Maverick. I'm sure you'll meet him at some point soon. So, middle school is a very interesting time. This is a time in children's lives where they are really going through a spurt of growth, and you will see a lot of changes. I know Miss Young asked this before, but for how many of you is this your first child coming to middle school? Oh, hang on for the ride. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be great. So, as I said, it's a time there's a lot of growth, and you're going to see a lot of changes in your kids. And really, if you were coming in, I don't know if you were coming in when the bell rang, but any middle school, not just here, you see a great variety as you look around as far as physical and emotional maturity. Physically, so kids, they begin to grow, they develop at their own rate as puberty begins, and they go through physical changes. Sometimes they seem a little awkward or less coordinated than they used to be. And, I sometimes have to say to myself, if a kid walks into me in the hall, I have to just remember, as their bodies are changing, they just seem a little more clumsy. At this point, they eat more, they need more sleep, and they need more personal hygiene. By the way, I sometimes tell parents, if you can remember this, try not to mention your child's changes to your child. They don't want you to say, oh, your voice is changing, or you're so tall, or why aren't you so tall, or, your face is breaking out. They're usually aware and, uncomfortable. So we try not to point all these changes out to them. Academically, this is a time when students, the good thing is they begin to do more problem solving and critical thinking, but along with that, they question us more, about rules, and they, why, Dr. Sack, why can't we wear headphones when we're walking down the hall and listen to music? And I don't understand that rule. Can you explain it? So there are problem-solving skills developed, but they do question things more, and they don't always take our answers at face value like we hope they would. And that's typical, and that's normal. So socially, middle school kids pull away from their parents. It is normal and typical, And I am here to tell you they come back. They're gone. They seem, they pull away for a bit. They'll come back to you. But during this time, it's going to be that their peer groups, their friends are more important than anything else in the world. They care more about their opinions of their friends than anything else in the world. So if you are used to Friday afternoons at Starbucks and having a mocha frappuccino with your son or daughter, and he says, I now hate mocha frappuccinos and I'm not going with you, it could be that someone at his lunch table said, mocha frappuccinos are disgusting, or babyish, or I don't want to be seen with you, Mom, in public. All typical and normal behavior. Don't be insulted. Middle schoolers can be very moody. They want to fit in with the crowd, but they also want to be unique and individual. They want more privacy, but they also want to be with everyone because the whole world is watching. They exaggerate a lot. Just know that. Whatever story you hear when they come home, they exaggerate a lot. Some small incident may be told to you as if it's the most important thing in the world. And lastly, morally, this is when kids are really developing their own sort of moral compass and thinking about the world and thinking about just different topics. Yesterday, I was having a conversation with some students, and one girl said, we were talking about the restrictions of websites at different points of the day here at middle school. And one girl said, if you restrict everything from us, how are we going to learn and make our own decisions about the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do? So you're like, wow, that was so insightful. But sometimes you could be having a really deep, introspective kind of, conversation with your child. And then next minute they say, can I eat on the floor with the dog? And can you put my dinner in a dog bowl too? Like, it's just, they go from one place to another, and they're still kids. And I would just say, no matter how mature they might sound sometimes just remember that they are still kids, and it's just a very interesting time in their lives. And I just want to say, I love middle school. I wouldn't do this if I didn't love middle school kids. They wear their hearts on their sleeves. They're amazing. They're really interesting. It's never boring. That I can promise. I wanted to just tell you that on this coming Tuesday, this was sent out to the middle school parents. We're inviting an author. She's coming to do a presentation. She wrote a book called Middle School Superpowers, Raising Resilient Tweens in Turbulent Times. And I just wanted to let you know, if you are around Tuesday and you want to join us, it's at 7 p.m. in our middle school library. You are welcome to join us as well. So at this point, I'm going to invite up your awesome sixth grade guidance counselor, Sam Mayetta, and he's going to talk to you for a bit and give me a few minutes of quiet. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. All right, my name is Mr. Mayetta. I'm currently the 8th grade counselor. Next year, I will be your 6th grade counselor. This is our absolutely amazing team. Next year, we will have our new guidance secretary, but this team that we have this year is absolutely wonderful. Our returning counselors, Miss Marin, Mrs. Bach, and our school psychologist that works with us primarily, Mrs. Guiney, is absolutely wonderful. The best part about us, I think, is how well we work with one another. We pick each other up and we help each other out no matter what grade we are specifically meant to be here for. Admin, they're pretty good too, but I think the guidance team is the heart and soul of the middle school. A little bit about us, or what's happening with me and the current 5th graders. We transition with our students. I'll reiterate that this whole entire slide is going to be posted online. Take pictures if you'd like, but there's going to be a lot of information coming up. Again, you can just go online and find all this information. We transition with our students. So next year I'll be the 6th grade counselor. The year after that, I'll be 7th. The year after that, I'll be 8th. So we get 3 very long years together. I look forward to working with all of you. We've actually already started working together. I've had many, many emails since January, working with you all so far with scheduling, and I'm happy to help. If you do have questions about absolutely anything, feel free to email me, call me, to get, our relationship start moving in the right direction. How do we get to know 6th graders, or current 5th graders? We've already went down to Washington School twice already this year. The whole purpose was them to see our faces. The first time was them to see my face so that when they're in here September 1st or whatever day 1 is, they know that if they walk into guidance, they see me, that's your counselor. So that was like a scheduling bit the first time. They knew who I am. The second time, we brought down all the counselors. So if they did walk into guidance for any reason whatsoever, and that's when they could come in for any reason whatsoever, and I'm not there because I'm doing something else, they know who all the other counselors are. So they see a friendly face, they know who we are. Maybe they're just a little bit more comfortable with talking to us. So that's one of the couple of reasons why we did that earlier in the year. Just this week, I've just finished speaking with every single teacher from Washington School about every single student there. So I know a little bit on paper, all their names, hopefully how to pronounce every single one of them, some of their strengths, and hopefully all of their weaknesses. We're going to look to build on those weaknesses and hopefully support them for the next 3 years, building on their academics, their mental health, anything else that we can help upon. I know some of the sports that they already play, some of the things that they like to do. I know who they like to be friends with. I know who they don't really work well with, and a lot of other things. And it's only the end of April. So I work May, June, and I'm here over the summer as well. So we have a lot of time before September to get this ball rolling before September comes along and they come in here. Soon as September comes along, I start meeting with each individual kid for about 15 minutes each to kind of get that ball rolling. I want to start developing a good relationship with each kid, making sure that they're able to come in to my office to be honest with me and share some personal things with me if they need to. That process is a long process. It's probably going to take until December, January to meet with 370 kids, about 15 minutes each to have that conversation. I've already told them face to face twice already that you don't have to wait till I call you to come in. You can come in for whatever reason at any time. We will also have group meetings during our study hall period if need be. That's just something that develops over time, most likely during the first semester or the first half of the year. During all that time as well, every single 4 days, I meet with every single 6th grade teacher, just going over what's happening inside the classroom. So I'm very well versed and I know a lot about what's going on inside the classroom. So if there's ever a question that you may have, obviously feel free to reach out to the teacher directly with an email and they'll get back to you. But if not, feel free to contact me as well. I'll be happy to respond or get whatever question that you may have. And that's kind of how we work together. I love the team system that we have here because we are all on the same page about each and every student. And that's very important to us. With that said, on May 29th, during our PTO meeting, I'm also going to give a little presentation about the details and specifics about the guidance department itself. So the last PTO meeting that we did about scheduling, a lot of you came, which was great. I invite you all to come to that May 29th one as well. I'll be happy to see you there. So what is a... the risk of it. Okay, so we're going to go into the core classes. Again, there's a lot of information on these next slides. I'm not going to go over every single thing on the slides, but they will be posted online. What a schedule is going to look like for our students. We're not going to go over what a drop schedule. You are? Okay, good luck. So So we have a rotating drop schedule here. I will tell you, the kids will know this before you all do. They will be here for 2 days and know this like the back of their hand. We will help them very much every single day. We still help them here. Everyone knows it. But what I will tell you, they will be scheduled for 8 periods. They will only go to 6 each and every day. But those 8 periods will consist of your 4 major subjects, which are math, English, science, and social studies. And then everyone will choose a world language. Along with those 5, everyone will be in a PE and a health class. So that equals 6. The next 2 periods in some kind of combination, and that's the emails that you guys have been sending me already, is what kind of combination. But the other 2 periods will consist of some kind of band, chorus, strings, leadership, music, game design, Shark Tank, or art. And that will equal those 8 periods. Again, if you haven't emailed me already, please feel free to do so. I'm happy to go over that with you. All of your course requests or all of your children's course requests for next year are in. I made sure of that. If you have any questions about those course requests, give me a call. All right. So a couple things before I go into the actual major subjects. I have a 7th grader and a 5th grader. So this is my personal things that I didn't know about middle school. The curriculum for me is exciting. It's when you have a kid going into it, it's kind of like your kid's diving into some real curriculum. And I couldn't wait until they did that. And I was all happy for that. I really was. And I really thought they were going to do it. So I was like, good job, buddy. Go ahead. Things I didn't know. 1, you're going to be learning that curriculum with them. 100%. The first person that student that your child's going to go to for help is you. So if he's learning about world civilization, guess who's learning it too? You. The second thing that I learned was how much of that I forgot since I went to middle school. I thought I was good at math. That was my best subject. I'm now in 7th grade honors math and I can't do it. I'm very sad about that. Just some tidbits. So this is math. This is what 6th grade math is all about. I'm not going to go over everything, but you can read it all. It'll all be on there. I know what you guys are all thinking about, and that's accelerated math for 6th grade next year. So what I will say is I've spoken to the director of math, Leanne Martin. Next week, you will get an email. That email will explain the process of how accelerated Math 6 will be presented, how your children will be assessed, and how they will be selected. On May 14th at 9:30 a.m. at Washington School, there will also be a forum where she will be at, where she will explain in person that exact process. I'm sure at that forum, you'll be able to ask questions and have a conversation with her as well. That's all the information I have now about that, and I'm sure there'll be more in the future. But again, after that forum on May 14th, feel free to ask me any questions that you may have. Grade 6 ELA, again, you have some reading, you have some writing. One thing I want to acknowledge here is your summer reading assignments. Yes, 6th graders will have a summer reading assignment. Online, you can see what last year's reading assignment was, but it's basically incoming 6th graders are going to have a choice of 3 books to read. It's not just reading. You will have to read the book, and then there's an actual assignment that you will have to complete. And then on the first or second day of school, the teachers will want to see it. They will want to see what you did. I know a lot of students that I've had in the past go away for summer camps or just vacation, and they're extreme, or sports. They're very busy over the summer. This isn't something that you can leave for the last 2 days of the summer. You have a whole book to read. You have a choice, so hopefully there's something there for everyone, but that's something just to keep your eyes on. And if you want to see what last year's was, I think it's still online. First writing assignment is based on the book. Right. I thought that. Thank you. Grade 6 science. I have nothing special for science, but I love science. But here are the concept, cross-cutting concepts: engineering, design, process, forces, motion, and energy, sound and light waves, the nature of matter, and chemistry. Science is fun here. We do a lot of experiments in the classroom. Our students look forward to going to science. Social studies. Yeah, you can take a picture of this one. And the reason why I say that, obviously they're learning about ancient civilizations here. What I'll say about social studies is I'll scare you first and then make it better next. Social studies is definitely the hardest subject in the school, easily. And the reason being is they are given this curriculum, this content, probably for the first time ever. World civilizations, this is the first time they're probably ever going to learn about ancient Rome, ancient Egypt. In 7th grade, the first time they'll be studying about religion in India or in China. These are things that are alien to them. In 8th grade, this is the first time they're actually going to study about the Constitution or learn every single amendment. So this is brand new to them, which makes it different. It's also the first time that they might be, if you look at the skills portion, this is really sometimes something that it takes time to develop. It's not something that you can just study hard for and be able to do. Sometimes it's what I call academic maturity. You just have to wait until your brain develops enough that you're able to do certain things, like analyzations of a writing or a piece that you're reading. Other things that are very important is evidence-based writing and discussing, reading and interpreting math. So when you're giving an answer, where did you get those facts that developed your answer? You have to be able to go back and cite those things. This is a different level of being able to form an answer. So that's some of the reasons why social studies, I believe, at this school is just on a different level. Again, this is all going to be online, so I hope you go back, look at it, because you're all going to be studying it next year. Spanish and world language. What I'm going to say here, because I think this got a lot of you while I was on the phone with you when we were selecting French or Spanish, is that it's a commitment. It's a commitment here for 3 years. It's not just, let's pick Spanish or French because one sounds cooler than the other, or I'm going to France this summer on a vacation, so let's take French. It's a commitment for 3 years. You have to remain in the world language. If you have some background in one or the two, and that's why you want to take it, that makes sense. But don't just flip a coin to make that decision, because these languages do get difficult by your 3rd year. You're kind of only speaking that language in that 8th grade class by that time. So you need the base to do well in 7th and 8th grade. And that means you really need to pay attention in 6th grade to do well in 7th and 7th and 8th and so on. So it's important that you do well right off the bat, which means you're motivated to do well right off the bat as well. But here you can see, you're getting to know your school life, activities, all that, family, household responsibility. It starts really at the base level. Pictures, what's the word next to the picture, that kind of thing. And obviously French is the same exact thing as Spanish was. So I'm so happy and excited to work with every one of your children next year. Right now, they're all names on a piece of paper. I can't wait to see their faces in September. But like I said, we have been working very hard to start that process right now, and I look forward to working with every one of you. Thank you, and Louisa Young.
Hey, good morning. I'm Mrs. Young. I'm one of the vice principals at the middle school. I'm jealous of all of you. I think middle school years are the most fun. I remember the first time I did this presentation going way back. My oldest child was entering 6th grade for the first time. And I remember saying, I'm one of you. I'm not one of you anymore. So now my oldest child is in next year will be his last year of college, also known as 2 more tuition payments. And it's just my husband and myself and my dog at home. And that looks sometimes when you're all hectic and running to a million things and you have little kids, that looks so attractive. No, it's fun. But so anyway, it goes very, very quickly. Enjoy the time. That's my point. Okay. Following up on some of the things that Mr. Maeda said, school changes a little bit in middle school in that there's a lot more expectations. It's a transition. They're changing subjects every period of the day. The work gets a little bit more difficult. And it's the first time that you have a more traditional grading system, right? So we use real report cards with A, B, C's, and number grades. So look, when school starts, there might be children that initially have a little bit of difficult time with that. As Mr. Maeda mentioned, some of it is developmental. So, we just need to support kids along the way till they, catch up. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about academic supports that we offer at the middle school. So initially, if a child comes in and they're struggling with one particular class or just need a little bit more help with one particular class, the first stop has to be the teacher. So if someone's having a little bit of trouble with math, they need to learn to self-advocate. This is the time to do that. So they need to make appointments to meet with the teacher, either during study hall, before or after school. Teachers are available to provide help and extra support. So that's the first step. If challenges continue across different subjects, we have the benefit of, as some people have already mentioned, our teaming system. So the teams of teachers, right, the 4 core teachers that your child has, meet 3 out of every 4 days of the week for an entire period just to discuss the kids on the team. So they're able to discuss kids who might be struggling a little bit and provide supports as a group for those students. So those are more of our informal supports. I'm going to move along to some of the more formal supports that we offer here. If a child needs some help beyond just the teacher's help, they might either the team leader or the guidance counselor might refer the child to INRS. INRS stands for Intervention and Referral Services. So in our school, we have an INRS committee. It includes a committee chairperson, that would be me, and our guidance counselors, team leaders, child study team members, the nurse, and others. And we meet regularly twice every month, like every other week. We have pretty full agendas. We talk about kids that might need some supports beyond just meeting with their teachers. Some of the supports we might offer through INRS are learning accommodation plans. So these are some formalized plans we put in place to support students who are, struggling for as long as they might need them. And we also have some support programming for ELA and for math. So if a child is a little bit behind on their math or their ELA skills, we can offer a math support class called Math Applications and Problem Solving. Students would take that in lieu of a related arts class. And we can also offer a reading writing strategies class to help shore up the reading and writing skills. That would be offered in lieu of a world language class. The idea being that we want a child to be strong in ELA before they take on another language. Just on the subject of languages, I know Mr. Maeda was talking about the Spanish and the French program here. Students could go through French, 6th grade, 7th, and 8th grade French. If they want to continue in a high school, they are now going into a level 3 French class, right? So our school provides level 1 and level 2 high school French, just to be clear. And Spanish is similar. Okay. Now, beyond INRS, if a child after a LAP plan, after special classes, is still struggling a little bit, we get concerned that there might be some kind of disability in play. So initially, if a child is diagnosed with or found to have a disability, and it is substantially impacting their learning, they might be eligible for a 504 plan. We have a 504 committee. It includes a committee chair, that would be me, and guidance counselors, team leaders, child study team members, school nurse, and again, others. Very similar to our INRS committee. And we would meet and determine if a child might be eligible for a 504 plan, which is similar to a learning accommodation plan that I went over that an INRS team might come up with, but it's a little bit more formal a little bit more, less temporary. And it's shared out with all the student teachers across all subjects and related arts and everything else. And it provides a plan to help support that child throughout the school day. Okay. A couple of things about 504 plans I just want to say. We write 504 plans just for the year. We might revisit at the end of the year to see if they need to continue in a second year, but they're written for 1 year. Additionally, 504 plans are only written for the school in which the problem is identified. Because oftentimes we have situations where parents are concerned that, oh, it's not really, causing too much of an impact on the learning here in the middle school, but I'm concerned when they get to high school, it's going to get more rigorous. We do not write 504 plans in the middle school for the high school. It's about the problems that a child is experiencing here and now. Okay. If a child is has a disability, it's found to have a disability, is experiencing problems that can't be handled within regular education. So 504s, again, are plans that we use within the general education framework. If a child needs special programming or classes that are not offered through general education, they might be referred to the child study team for evaluation for special education. I'm not going to get into special education too much at this point here. We have a supervisor of special education, Mr. Brent McGinnis, who wasn't available today, but he runs an entirely separate orientation for special education. And so he will be sending out information about that when that will be scheduled, and everybody that is impacted will be invited to that. Our case managers for our child study team at the middle school are Michelle Charney-Hills, who's our learning disability teacher consultant. We have 2 school psychologists, Miss Erica Evans and Miss Ashley Mistak. We have a school social worker, Miss Robertson. And we have a school psychologist that Mr. Mayette already mentioned, Miss Guiney, who shares her time between general education and special education. Again, if your child is someone who already has an IEP or is involved in special education, one of these people will be reaching out to you as the case manager well before school starts. Okay, I think that's me. So I'm going to now, Mrs. Ward, who I like to call the other vice principal, is going to come up. Yes, the friendly one. She points out, everybody always says, Mrs. Ward, the friendly one. Mrs. Young, the one who always looks grumpy. Looks can be deceiving. It's affect. I can't help it.
Right. My turn. Hi. That applause was for me. Good morning, everybody. My name is May Ward. I'm the vice principal here with Mrs. Young as well. This is my 20th year in the Millburn School District. I've actually taught 10 years at the high school, 4 years at the middle school. You'll never guess what it is, but it's Spanish. So after that, then I transitioned over to become a vice principal. That's what I really wanted to do. As when I was younger, I actually wanted to be in the Peace Corps and work in Africa, but my parents are like, no, you got to choose a career here. So it was Spanish, traveling abroad. So that was one of my passions. So yesterday I wanted to share with you that my daughter, Emily, who's in 6th grade now in another school district, it was a really nice day. And I said to her that a lot of parents are coming tomorrow. So what advice would you like to give to them? So in her own words, she said, I liked how you gave me the advice of bringing your own lunch with my friends so that at the first couple of days we could pick our table and not be so stressed about the lunch line. She also said you don't really need that many binders. One is fine. You could empty it as long as you go along the way. She also said smile to everyone and be kind, especially to your teachers. It makes getting extra help easier. She also said good study habits are a key and that you must use your time wisely. In her own words, she says it's a game changer. And I said, well, what about the emotional piece and all of that stuff and the social piece? And I said to her, what would you tell 5th grade Emily right now? And she said, Mom, there's only one of you. Take care of you. So it's very profound. I was like, well, good. So, right. So thinking about your middle school career here, we similarly want the best for your child and to have a great experience here at the middle school.
So at the middle school, we strive to create and sustain a school environment where students feel safe, physically, emotionally, and mentally to learn and socialize. A lot of their focus is going to be on socialization, but I keep reminding Emily, you're here to study. Put your head in the books, and that's what we're going to do. So she's been having a great year so far. Middle school is where a lot of social learning takes place and is a time where students make tremendous progress, but conversely also mistakes. And that's where me and Mrs. Young find a lot of our students making mistakes, and that's okay. Right now, they're so emotionally charged and sometimes they're emotionally dysregulated, meaning that they sometimes don't know how to control their emotions. I'm sure raise your hands if you know what that means at home as well. So our code of conduct here is really important, and we take a lot of time to review it every year to make sure that everything is fair and appropriate for the child in that grade. So what we want to say is our code of conduct, that make sure that you review it with your child, and not only review it, but make sure that they understand it so that they know how to act appropriately in school. This is a document shared on our website and offers students and parents disciplinary measures in accordance with our district policies and regulations. So when they come into our offices, me and Mrs. Young, we try to make sure that we understand where they're coming from. Sometimes their actions don't make sense, right? But they make them, and they make that mistake. So when you get a phone call home from us and we suggest that we'd like to offer them a detention, it's not the end of the world. It just shows that they need to reflect on their actions and make sure that they're able to not do the same things again the next time. So we like to offer our code of conduct here as our school as something that's very much universal. We don't arbitrarily pick, you get this detention here and not here. We try to keep it as uniform as possible so that students understand there are consequences for your mistakes. And one of the things I'd like to offer as somebody who's going through now, it's a sixth grader, that it's okay for them to learn to make a mistake, but offer them the space to make sure that they're able to fix it for themselves, right? That's the guidance piece and our involvement that we're asking from you as administrators for your child. Our approach here to discipline is progressive, and we aim to teach, model, and reinforce behaviors as an important part of your child's educational experience. Like we said, we're here to educate people. Oh, sorry. Okay, we're here to educate your child, and that's where my and Mrs. Young are always our first step, is to make sure that they learn from their mistakes. Okay, so establishing a climate of appropriate behavior as a norm cannot happen without partnership from you, the parent, to set boundaries and allow your child the freedom to grow and learn. So I'd like to offer some insights on how to build this partnership with you, right? Because your child is always listening to you, and coaching them about how to handle situations to build empathy and respect for others is really key. So sometimes even when I'm at ShopRite and I'm with my daughter, you kind of see somebody either bugging, excuse me. So if you see somebody getting upset, for example, that they're not bagging fast enough, just say, well, Emily, how would you handle that situation, instead of getting angry, and allow for them to talk them through the problem themselves and see how they could handle things themselves. And you could go through a code of conduct, and there are specific things that you could even make up scenarios and have them have the tools for their backpack, right? For them to emotionally regulate themselves, because that's what we'd like to teach for them in sixth grade. And then at night, take the time, and I can't say how important this is, to actively supervise your child's social media, right? And get to know your child's friends. Every bit helps to point them in the right direction. And I can't stress that enough. You don't want an influencer's voice stronger than yours, right? So that was my one advice and offer that. So while students are beginning to define their own moral compass here in sixth grade, unfortunately, we do have times where students make mistakes and the conflicts do escalate. I see more of this in seventh grade and Mrs. Young as well, with friend groups. But while students are beginning to define their own moral compass in sixth grade, there's unfortunately times that we do need to handle it administratively when children are not able to handle it for themselves. Here at MMS, our goal is to prevent bullying and create a safe environment and instill that we're a community that cares for one another, that we respect one another, and that we truly embody here at the middle school the core values that we have in our hallways. So during sixth grade, your child will be exposed to numerous programs to help guide them and support them. Again, their first line of defense is always you. Keep talking to them regularly at night, even if it's just very casual. You'll get them to calm down a bit and have them explain to you what's going on in their lives, which is so much, very, very important, as we could all say. Again, administrators are here to help. We're not always here to give out consequences, right? I think that was one of the most important things that me and Mrs. Young love about our jobs is we get a chance to hear their thought processes and have them be guided along the way to make sure that they're not doing the same things again. So at the end, I'm going to drastically change my thought process about Chromebooks, which they're going to get or already have with them. So to elaborate a little bit about that, the Chromebooks are theirs for the entire year. Attached with it is an insurance policy that helps mitigate any future damages. And then I'd also like to reiterate that we have Go Guardian reports and Gaggle safety reports that come to us administrators. Most of the times for sixth graders, they're shopping on Amazon for I don't know what. So if something that's the lighter things, but then there's also times where they're looking up stuff that's inappropriate, and we do have those safety guard features. And there's nothing more awkward than them coming into our office and say, "What are you doing? Like, what are you looking at?" I'm sure your parents don't want you to be on there. And then you'll get a phone call from us, say, "Listen, your child wanted to explore this. You might want to have a conversation with them at home." Again, these conversations are really important for them to have with you. So as I mentioned before, we wish that your child here has the very best experience. Again, Mrs. Young and I are always here to help them with throughout the whole process here at the middle school. And again, I wanted to give you guys the best of luck with everything to come.
Thank you.
I'm going to try to lift this because I was told I before people couldn't hear me because I wasn't talking into the microphone. So I apologize for that. I'll try to bend into it. All right. I was tasked with trying to explain our rotate and drop schedule. So that'll come now. What happened to our mode? All right. Well, what did you press? All right. So anyway, I'm going to look. This is going to be explained, and we have documents that are going to be shared that you can go over with this. And it again, as Mr. Maeda said earlier, kids learn the schedule very, very quickly. We don't have issues with kids getting confused, but I'm probably going to confuse you for the next 5 minutes. So we'll move ahead. So as has already been mentioned, we're going to talk about the sixth grade schedule. So as already been mentioned, we have 4 teams on sixth grade. The teams are going to be 6B, 6L, 6T, and 6M. There's roughly 90 students on each team this year, given the number of sixth graders. It'll be pretty balanced. There is no special reason to assign anybody to any given team, okay? B, L, T, and M, the assignments are random. The letters mean nothing. The legend is that, when they were first chosen, the person picking them was thinking of the sandwich, bacon, lettuce, tomato, and mayo. So, probably, but they're just random numbers. So your child will be on a team. On that team, they're going to have 4 core teachers, an ELA teacher, a social studies, a science, and a math teacher. So those are 4 of their classes, 4 classes of the day. They're going to have a world language class. That's number 5. As I mentioned earlier, there might be a support class instead of world language for some people, but for most people, world language, that's 5 classes. They will have health PE. That's 1 class. Health is 1/4, PE is 3/4 of the year. So that's 6. And then your child will have 2 related arts periods, right? So, and the related arts offerings are art, game design, general music, leadership, and Shark Tank. Mr. Maeda mentioned that we asked for people to give us preferences. We try to honor first choices. We can't honor both or four choice. You know, it's difficult because we have to create a balanced schedule. But we try to honor people's first choices. Now, 2 classes of related arts. When I say 2 classes, like 8 periods. It's really 4 related arts classes because related arts classes are half a year long. So a child might have in their related arts period art for half the year and game design for the second half of the year. And then for their second related arts period, they might have music for half the year and leadership for half the year, or Shark Tank or whatever happens to be. Now, that is true except for students who take band, orchestra, and chorus. Those students will not have 4 related art classes because they will only have 1 period of related arts. So they will have 2 related arts classes, 1 for half the year, 1 for the other. Their second related arts period will be band, chorus, or orchestra, and that will be true for the entire year. It's not broken into semesters. Okay, a little bit about band, chorus, and orchestra real quickly because so many people are involved in it. How many have a student who plays an instrument or sings or, you know? See? We have a very robust music program, and I would say 70% of the students in the school participate, so it's important to go over. As mentioned, if you have band, chorus, or orchestra, that will be one of the related art periods for the day. In 6th grade, that will either happen period 2 or period 7 of the day. I'm just going to talk about band, but think orchestra and chorus the same way, okay? You can be in band A, period 2, or you can be in band B, period 7. It is a random assignment. Half the kids are meeting period 2, half the kids are meeting with the entire band, with half the band period 7. We have to break it up because there are so many students. A teacher couldn't manage one class of that many at one time, so it's broken up into the 2 classes. They do get together to practice at different times through the lunch study hall periods throughout the year in preparation for the performances that we have where the entire band performs together, or the entire orchestra, or the entire chorus. You get the idea. In addition to the band or orchestra or chorus class, there are individual lessons for band and for orchestra, okay? Kids are grouped in small groups based on their ability and based on their instrument, and they have weekly lessons. The lessons are pulled from the other periods of the day. We try to be very mindful, and so each week, the student will be pulled from a different period. In this way, they're not always pulled period 2 and are missing math every week, right? They're going to be pulled each week from a different class. This is important because in middle school, when a child is pulled for lessons, they are expected to make up the work that occurred in the class that day. So the next day, the teacher will catch them up, or they'll come in and meet with the teacher during study hall to see what was missed and what needs to be made up. But that is a responsibility of participating in the music program. Okay, and it's very similar, I think, to how it was in Washington School with those schedules. They made them so that they would alternate each week and kids wouldn't constantly be missing the same classes. A typical schedule, again, some of this is redundant, but it's good to hear again, right? This is what we would see as the 8 periods of the day, right, of a day for a student who is in band, chorus, or orchestra. So in this particular example, it's just a model. Period 1 is math. Period 2, they go to band. Period 3, they have ELA. Period 4, they have science. Period 5, they have their related arts. First half of the year will be game design. The second half of the year will be leadership. Period 6, they'll have social studies. Period 7, they will have health or PE, depending on what quarter it is. And period 8, they will have Spanish or French, depending on what they chose. That is an 8-period day, an 8-period schedule, very simple. The problem is we do not have 8 periods in a day, we have 6. And that's where I'm going to explain now. Okay, so a child has 8 periods, but only 6 of them meet each day. We did this just to give you a tiny bit of the history. We did this because we had found, we did a lot of studies, we met with different consultants. Our kids were very harried. I was here when we ran the standard period 8 schedule. The classes were short. They were like 35 minutes. It wasn't good for anybody because I'd go in and observe a science class and the teacher would finish like the direct instruction portion of the lesson and the kids would run out of time to be able to do the independent work or the lab or whatever. The longer period was better. Also, if you are running every 2 minutes, I think it was, to a different class, it is just so harried. It was more stressful. It definitely was. And if you're meeting every class every day, the chances are you're having homework in every class every day. And the homework was causing a lot of stress for a lot of kids. So it was a long process over several years, and we moved to this rotate and drop schedule. And by only having 6 periods each day, the periods are longer. There's time to get into the more active part of the lessons. And on any given day, 2 periods don't exist. So you would never have homework in 8 periods in a day. This is just the side benefit of it, okay? All right, so let me talk about now how an 8-period day translates into meeting six times a day. Okay, so this is our schedule. We have a 6-block schedule each day. Block 1, I'm looking at the right here. Block 1 meets from 8 to 8:54, 54 minutes. Block 2, 8:58 to 9:50. Block 3, 9:54 to 10:46. Let's skip lunch. I'll talk about it after. Block 4 is 12:06 to 12:58. I'm reading you times that you could see, I know, but I'm just going through. Block 5, 1:02 to 1:54. Block 6, 1:58 to 2:50. This never changes. This is the block schedule. This is our schedule every day for the entire year. 3 blocks in the morning, 3 blocks in the afternoon. They're all approximately 52 minutes each. The first block is 54 minutes because we do morning announcements during the first block. Okay, that is the schedule. Okay, now here's how we rotate the 8 periods during the 6-block schedule. So work with me, stick with me here, okay? Think of it as, we call it a bicycle rotation, like it's 2 wheels. There is a morning rotation, there is an afternoon rotation. So for blocks 1, 2, and 3 each day, we will rotate through periods 1, 2, 3, and 4. And in the afternoon, blocks 4, 5, and 6, we will rotate through periods 5, 6, 7, and 8. So everybody look at that A column. That's an A day. On an A day, a child's period 1 class would meet block 1. Their period 2 class would meet block 2. Their period 3 class would meet block 3. They would drop period 4. Period 4 would not meet on an A day at all. They go to the afternoon. During block 4, they will go to period 5. During block 5, they will go to period 6. During block 6, they will go to period 7. There is no period 8 on an A day. That would drop out. So if period 8 was math, there is no math on an A day. Okay, everybody with me? Now we go to a B day. On B day, period 4 that didn't meet on the A day comes in at block 1. Period 1 is block 2. Period 2 is block 3. Okay? On that day, there is no period 3. It drops out. In the afternoon, we go block 4 is period 8. Block 5 is period 5. Block 6 is period 6. There is no period 7. It drops out. You get the idea? On C day, we go periods 3, 4, 1, and 2 drops out in the morning. And then we go 7, 8, 5, and 4 drops out in the afternoon. And on D day, we go 2, 3, 4. There is no period 1 in the morning. And we go 6, 7, 8. There is no period 5 in the afternoon. That is our rotate and drop schedule. So if you see, any given period meets 3 out of every 4 days. So if, let's say, period 1 is the math class, let's look at period 1. It meets on A day, block 1. On B day, block 2. On C day, block 3. I don't have it on day D. Okay. My suggestion, what I always tell kids is if they're using morning and afternoon binders, or some kids use binders for each, you'll figure out what works best for your child based on where their locker is and everything else. They have binders that have the clear cover insert. I would suggest making a copy of this schedule, and it will be shared with you in all the documents that go out during the year, and have the kids slide it into the binder pocket, the clear binder pocket, so they see it every day. Every morning we do the Pledge of Allegiance and we remind kids of what day it is, right? But really all they have to do, the times never change, the blocks never change. They just have to remember what day it is so to know what period is in each block. How did I do? All right. I know they're going to be polite, but everybody's like, whatever, right? All right. I do want to say this. This is our year at a glance. This is last year's. We haven't made the current year's yet. That will be made over the summer and shared out with you. But we make the calendar for the entire year. We take every school day that's in session and we label it an A, B, C, or D day. So we go A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, all the way through, again, discounting holidays and days when we're not in session, right? This is important to say because the calendar is made in the summer for the year and it never changes. Okay? So if February 11th is a B day, when I send you the calendar in August, February 11th is going to be a B day. Nothing will change that. So February 10th is an A day and there is a snowstorm and there is no school. So we lose the A day. So when we come back on February 11th, do we make up the A day? No, we do not, right? Because the calendar never changes. February 11th is a B day. And why am I talking to you like this? Because 95 people will call on February 11th to say, is it an A day or is it a B day? So that's why I'm doing that. Remember it. Lunch. So I skipped lunch before. I wanted to talk about that real quickly. In our block schedule, again, we have blocks 1, 2, and 3 in the morning. We have blocks 4, 5, and 6 in the afternoon. Those are the teaching periods. There are 2 lunch periods in the middle of the day. There are no classes during lunch, except for sometimes, again, when I told you before, the music classes get together sometimes during one of those periods. But the school basically shuts down. Everybody is either in lunch or study hall mode for those periods. They are 36 minutes each. Believe me, it is enough time. 30 minutes would be better. The last 5 minutes, everybody's done eating, they're done talking to their friends, and now they're looking for mischief. So, but we have 36 minutes, plenty of time. The first group, lunch A, meets from 10:49 to 11:25. All 6th graders will eat during lunch A. So all the 6th grade and half of the 7th grade meets during lunch A in the cafeterias. And the other half of the 7th grade and the 8th grade have lunch during lunch B. Okay. Why do we do this? Because we can't fit 1,200 kids in the cafeteria at one time. We do not have the cafeteria space to do that. It's difficult even with the 600. We have a main cafeteria. We built a few years ago an auxiliary cafeteria, which allowed us to go to two. It used to be 3 lunch periods. And we use the lower gym. We bring in cafeteria tables and we set up a lunch line in that space as well. Okay. The point is, even though your 6th graders are going to be teamed and really have 100 kids 90 to 100 kids that they spend their classroom time with, during lunch, all the 6th graders eat together. We don't assign seats. We don't, they can eat and sit with whoever they want. It is their time to do that. So, again, your child will eat lunch from 10:49 to 11:25 during lunch A. During lunch B time, 11:28 to 12:04, that will be their study hall period. Every child will be assigned to a study hall. It's in a classroom with about 20 kids. It will be with one of their core teachers, and the other teachers will be available through passes to meet with them as well. We ask that the study hall classes be quiet times. So students are able to, again, work with teachers. They're able to get jumps on their homework, which most people do, especially in 7th and 8th grade. And they're able to get some quiet time to read a book. Some kids listen to music. You know, we try to keep them quiet so that the kids who are working can have that ability. But for kids who use it properly, it really helps lessen stress, especially if things that might need to, you know, be held over for at home, they could get a start at them in school. Okay. We just took a couple of pictures of the cafeteria for you to see. These are the two sides of the main cafeteria, but there are also lunch lines in the auxiliary cafeteria, and we have a mobile line that we put into the lower gym. So kids, you know, line up. One side is cold offerings, which are usually like salads and sandwiches and, you know, the puddings and snacks and fruit and those kinds of things, and pizza. There's always pizza. And then, and we get it from one of the local pizzerias. I'm not sure which one. Do you know which one? It's real pizza. It's not cafeteria pizza. We bring it in. And then the other side are hot offerings, and they do a nice job. There's always, you know, 3 or 4 different hot meals the kids get very excited about. We also have specialty days during the year, like Waffle Day was a big one, sushi, pasta day. And kids get very excited about that. So it's a normal cafeteria line that everybody's, you know, you wait on the line, then you go to the register. I want to talk to you a little bit about how you pay for lunch, but I want to reiterate something Mrs. Ward said earlier. It's always a good idea the first couple of days, because the lines, the first couple of days, kids forget their numbers, they forget their IDs, it slows the process. And the first few days, kids, you know, find their groups, you know, to sit with, and they change. We allow kids to sit anywhere in the cafeteria they want. Well, on any given day. What we do ask is once they pick a seat for a day, that's their seat for the day, that they don't just, you know, become the socialite that travels from table to table. So one day you sit with this group of friends, one day you sit with another. The reality is kids tend to go to the same group every day. And as they first enter school, you know, they might take a while to figure out who that group is. And a good plan is to, as you leave block 3, kids that you might have been talking to in your block 3 class, hey, we heading to lunch? Let's all go down together, and, you know, they'll find their way. But you don't want to spend your whole first week on the lunch line, right? So if you're going to pack the first week, it's sometimes a good idea. But, you know, if you want to practice with like getting a snack or a drink or something just to use your ID or that kind of thing, that's a good idea as well. On the subject of that, we have an account that you can set up as parents through Pay Schools. That information will all be shared out to you. And you essentially put money in the account, and then kids draw on it to pay for their lunch each day. Cash is accepted as well if you don't want to do this account. But we do find this easier. Kids just either use their ID or they have a number memorized that they just, you know, put into the keypad each day, and it makes the lines go a lot quicker. One thing about the student ID number for lunch accounts, they use the New Jersey student ID number that is assigned to every student. So I can't change it. I shouldn't say that. I can change it, but our system, our entire district system will update each night, and it will change back to the original number. I'm telling you this because please encourage your kids to not share their number. Because a lot of times, Mrs. Ward and I will have to figure out, like, kids might be using someone else's number that was shared with them on one day, right? And what kids don't realize is, you know, letting a child get a bag of chips or something on a given day with your account, they might remember the number and use it on other days that are not, you know, sanctioned by you, kind of thing, right? That's the best practice. Don't share the number ever. Everybody buys their own lunch. Nobody shares numbers. Okay. Oh, that's me. All right. Yeah.
We only have a few more slides. You've been so attentive. Thank you so much. So keys for success. To be successful here at Millburn Middle School, for your student to be successful, it really helps if you as parents encourage them to take risks, but risks that are responsible risks, like trying a new club or maybe joining the school play next year, being a part of the school play, things they haven't done before. Again, and some of this is repetitive, but I know Mrs. Ward was talking to you about the kids make mistakes. Let them make their mistakes. You don't need to save them if they forgot a homework and they get a 0. It's okay. They need to learn from their mistakes. Help them to be self-advocates. We encourage you, if you can reach out to the teacher, but let your child try first to ask the teacher if, they have a question or there's a concern. And as far as communication, this is the flow chart of communication here at the middle school. And it just is basically saying, if you have an academic concern, a concern about a class, the first thing you do is contact the teacher. You've probably heard this story before. And then each team has a team leader. You can contact the team leader, then the guidance counselor or case manager. And at the bottom, it says administration, Mrs. Young or Mrs. Ward. Conveniently, I don't know why my name's not on there, but it isn't. And then if there's a social emotional concern, of course you can reach out to the teacher if you'd like, but this is what we encourage, that if that's the case, you go to the guidance counselor. If there's a medical concern, obviously you go to the school nurse. Attendance concerns, you should go to contact the main office. And it's not that we are listed last administration because we'd love to hear from you. It's not that we don't want to hear from parents. It's just if a parent contacted me and said, my child is having an issue in the social studies class and doesn't understand this and that, I'm going to say, you need to talk to your child's teacher. So this just kind of guides you to what to do first. And a really important key for success is balance. It's okay for your child to stay involved in the sports and activities that they enjoy, but middle school is going to be a pretty big change. So I would encourage you not to overschedule your kids. Let them be kids. And again, activities they love, great, but they're going to be busy. Some advice we've collected from students at Millburn Middle School about 6th grade, and it's kind of funny because a lot of them sort of say the same thing. Enjoy 6th grade, do what makes you happy, don't worry so much. That's sort of like the theme. It'll be okay. You'll get help if you need help. Don't get too stressed. Take advantage of opportunities. And then I love the last one, be yourself. It's just a name. The Millburn Middle School, and it's just a bigger school. So it's kind of cute. Transitioning and communication. So thank you for being here. That's the first one, 5th grade parent orientation. Your children will be coming from Washington School to the orientation for students on June 6th. The 18th to the 20th of August, there will be guided tours with our peer leaders, 8th graders, who will show them around the school and help them figure out how to open up their locker trials at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it says tours will be by appointment only. We will send you the registration information for that in June. August 20th, there's also a special education orientation. August 28th is a transition day at Millburn Middle School. Again, you're going to get information about this. We're just sharing the dates early. And September 2nd is the first day of school. And on that day, the 6th graders will have another orientation day time during the day while they're here. And lastly, I want to just share, there's a lot of ways that we communicate with parents. I send a Friday bulletin every Friday, a newsletter, and it also has a week at a glance in it, which means I'm going to show you not just what happened this week, but what's coming up events or what have you. And I'm also going to list the days of the week for the next week. So you'll get that every Friday. We have our handbook is online. We make morning announcements that are shared out with parents every day. There's the PTO sends a newsletter. There's just a lot of communication. So you will be hearing from us. And to that point, this presentation will be shared with you. As I said, I'll send it out to fifth grade families as soon as Mrs. Natuzzi, who's our tech facilitator here at the school, she's in the back. As soon as it's ready, we'll send it out to you so you have that. And I just want to really thank everybody for coming. I also want to thank our presenters, our PTO presidents, and Sam and Louisa and May. Thank you. I feel like I know a lot about the school, but I haven't been here that long. So they're really, they have lived and breathed this place for a very long time. You did an excellent job explaining the schedule and everything else. So thank you for that. I appreciate that you came out this morning, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. And like I said, we'll be in touch.